Move this up a little bit closer maybe. Is that better? And he came down with them and stood on a level place. Today's reading is known as the Sermon on the Plain, and it's a bit different than the Sermon on the Mount. It's a bit different that it feels edgier, much more direct, and of course, it's on a plain and not on a mount. Now the first thing that catches my ear is that Jesus comes down and is on the same level as those around him. God emptied the God-self into the child and became man. Do you hear the similarity? Luke seems to be emphasizing that Jesus is one of us. He's emphasizing Jesus' humanity here. He's on the same level as all of us. And now he has come to offer healing, calm those with troubled spirits, and everyone is trying to touch him. If they could just touch him, they would experience something because power went out of him when they touched him. Power went from him and to whomever that touched him. It kind of sounds like a crowd just wanted to get a piece of Jesus' celebrity, if you will. And okay, to give you an idea how my mind works, as I was typing this sermon and I counted to this point in my mind, I'm like, I wonder what would happen if we had a lock of Jesus' hair. You know, Elvis's had a lock of Elvis's hair sold for $115,000 at auction. You know, and he wasn't the only one. John Lennon's went for $48,000. Kennedy's went for $3,000. Beethoven's went for $7,300. Let's see, Che Guevara's hair, along with fingerprints and photographs, went for $119,000. Now, if you think that's a little bit silly, remember you can still find a piece of the true cross for auction on eBay for $1,500. Literally, I looked it up. So Jesus' celebrity lives on. So can you imagine, in this time of Jesus' celebrity, when he was the most popular teacher around, people were pushing against him, trying to touch him, hear him, doing anything they could to just see him. And there he stands among them as an equal. And he gives us the Sermon on the Plain, or two sermons, if you will, really. Unlike Matthew's Beatitudes, these are rather direct and specific. Nicholas King, who was one of my professors over at Oxford, who spent about 12 to 15 years translating, doing a fresh translation of the Bible, using as much as original text as he could find. And then he also had a commentary. He says, quote, again, the reader must decide whether Luke is speaking to an audience that is largely affluent. Certainly, he does not, as Matthew does, speak of the poor in spirit. And although he has fewer, quote, congratulations, that's the word that Nicholas King uses to translate, than Matthew, he sharpens the effect by throwing in 4 woes to match the congratulations. These two sections, the woes and the congratulations, are nicely balanced. Some scholars see here the original Beatitudes. End quote. Nicely balanced, indeed. But are they nice? And to whom are these addressed? Well, in Luke's Gospel, Jesus is actually addressing his disciples, his followers. He's talking to them directly. And down through the ages, his voice is coming to us. Unlike Matthew's, blessed are those, this seems to be more direct. Dr. William Willimon, who's a professor of practice of the Christian ministry at Divinity School at Duke University, reminds us that, quote, in comparing these two versions of the sermon, we see that Luke's rendition is briefer, edgier, with a sharp contrasting of the you who are blessed and you who are cursed. In Luke, Jesus addresses his followers. In Matthew, Jesus appears to address the multitudes, and his disciples listen on as he speaks to the crowd. Matthew's sermon is noted for its abstract, bordering on the sublime language of blessed are the poor in spirit. It's not as direct. By contrast, Luke's version of the sermon is a straightforward announcement of the nature of Jesus' reign. Blessed are you who are poor. Woe to you who are rich. The Sermon on the Plain is a forceful, prophetic statement. End quote. So there are really kind of two sermons here, or two parts to one sermon, if you will. And remember, Jesus is addressing his disciples here. Now, the quotations I'm going to use are from Nicholas's translation. Jesus raised his eyes to his disciples and said, "Congratulations to the poor, for yours is the kingdom of heaven." Congratulations, all you who are poor. When everything in this world seems to function for the rich, helping the rich get richer, forcing the poor into greater poverty, good news. In heaven, those whom the world, through its taxes and its legal structures and its systems of punishments, its racism and prejudices and put down, makes you poor, you who are poor will be made rich. Okay, that's hopeful. Congratulations to you who are hungry now, for you will be saved. How lucky are you who are hungry. I know there's not much greater sadness than hunger, but in God's heaven, that's coming eventually, there you'll have enough. There will be more than enough food. There will be more than enough opportunity. A wonder-filled future rather than this broken tomorrow that the world gives you today. Nobody will be forced to go to bed hungry. You are about to be filled because God has a special place in heaven for those of you who the world sends away empty. Did you miss the part about hungry now? Congratulations to those who weep now, because you will laugh. Oh, you lucky ones who are crying and weeping now. Your tears will turn to laughter. Those of you who have received so much bad news will be recipients of the good news in heaven. Heaven is coming, and once it arrives, those who mourn because of the losses they have suffered in this world will receive a new world in which laughter will be the order of the day. Congratulations when people hate you, and when they ostracize you, and throw insults at you, and spurn your name as evil for the sake of the Son of Man. Rejoice in that day, and leap about, for look, your reward is great in heaven. For in just the same way, their ancestors used to treat the prophets. So if you've ever been put down, insulted, left out, shamed, felt marginalized or disrespected because of Jesus, because you're a Christian, rejoice. If you have been punished because of your faith in Jesus, you're about to receive your reward. This is the way the world has always treated people who tell the truth, serve the truth, and try to be obedient and faithful to the teachings of God and Jesus. God loves you. God loves you as much as God loves all of the great but persecuted prophets of old. Okay. So that's the end of the first part of today's sermon. As a follower of Jesus, was Jesus speaking to you? Did you hear some of your life captured in there, maybe? Does this give you hope? Are you feeling pretty good right now? As a disciple of Christ, this is truly good news. But then, wait, there's more. There's a part 2. Jesus' voice is now changing from one of compassion to one that's kind of accusatory. Okay, not kind of. It is accusatory. It's judgmental. It's even harsh. So is Jesus addressing you as a follower, as one of his disciples? Bad news for those of you who have lots of stuff. Yikes. We Americans are known for accumulating stuff. Jesus says your day is coming. You have had the best that you could afford. You take great joy in your possessions, feeling that they secure you and your family from misfortune. You see your stuff as earned. Earned for your hard work and prudence. You have already received all that you wanted, and now that's over. Woe to you who are filled now, for you will be hungry. Those of you who have fat pension plans and big houses, 3-car garages, big cars, and plenty of opportunities, now is your time to have less. You are about to feel, for the first time in your life, emptiness, knowing hunger, and a sense of the void inside of you. Sorry. He goes on, and woe to you who laugh now, for you will mourn and weep. Sorry for you who are happy, who feel good about your life is going right now. Unfortunately for you, it's to turn and you will begin to mourn and weep. You have had experienced the world as a joyful and pleasant place, and will now get to see the other side of the story. I don't know why people stuck around for this, really. Woe to you whenever all people speak good of you, for just in the same way their ancestors used to treat the false prophets. Bad times are ahead of those of you who everyone is your friend. Unfortunately, if you've received praise and adulation in this world, you're going to get the experience the other half lives in the next world. So that's the second part of the sermon, or the second sermon. So which one of these is Jesus preaching to you? Did any of this second part make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? Did any of the first part make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? One commentator reminds us, of course we would all prefer to receive blessings rather than condemnation. But this sermon, much like its counterpart in Matthew, the more familiar Sermon on the Mount, is not so much blessing and condemning as it is painting a picture, showing a shape of what God's kingdom come may be. Remember how Jesus began his first sermon in Nazareth? He said that the Spirit of the Lord was upon him to preach good news to the poor and good news that God is coming. This Sermon on the Plain announces the news that God's promises are being fulfilled, that God is coming into the world. And the one who preaches, Jesus, is the one who not only announces, but also embodies this new world, this new way of being, God's kingdom. Now, we pray the Lord's Prayer here most every Sunday. And in that prayer we always say, Thy kingdom come and Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Jesus' Sermon on the Plain, or maybe more accurately, the two sermons on the plain, make me wonder if we really mean what we pray. Do we really want God's kingdom to come? God's will to be done on earth as it is done in heaven? What kind of challenges would that bring? The more I think on this sermon, on the plain, which is definitely not plain, it's extraordinary. And in a way, it's kind of exciting. Why? Because I know that technically I'm in both categories. The woes and the congratulations. Depending on where I am in my day, where I am in my life, I could be on either side of that line. The congratulations are there to comfort me in my sorrow, in my hunger, in my broken spirit. The woes are there to remind me to be cautious and aware of my abundance. Those are the times that I should count my blessings and see where I might share and do more with the abundance I receive. One commentator says that an initial reading of the Lucan Beatitudes might prompt us to accuse Luke of a pie-in-the-sky, by-and-by attitude. That is, he encourages people to endure their present suffering by holding out hope for rewards sometime in the indefinite future. But when we take into account both the time elements of now versus future, and the issue of divine versus human ascent, how something more complex emerges. A crude paraphrase may be, things are not always as they seem. Those who seem to be prospering may not be, at least not in God's sight. Those who seem to be suffering may be blessed, at least in God's sight. Paul puts it a little bit differently in 1 Corinthians 1:25. God's foolishness is wiser than human wisdom, and God's weakness is stronger than human strength. All in all, I hear in this message is a warning to us disciples to just check our attitude. check our judgments. We know not what others are going through. This also says to me that perhaps we need to look deeper and get beyond the surface of this world. In spiritual care and in spiritual practice, we learn never ask someone how they are doing. Why? How you doing? You're fine. And that's the end of the conversation. Anything special happening today? You're going to get a list there, won't you? Did something good happen to you today? Are you going to get deeper and more honest answers, and in the answer you may learn how we can better serve. If someone comes to the church and is seeking food, and we say, here is a bag, go shopping, that's one thing, it's providing service. But if you ask, how are things at home? How has this week been for you? We may learn there are other needs going on. We may discover a deeper connection and a way we could better serve our community. Now that's just one example, but what I'm saying here is, just as a sermon on the plane is anything but plain, there are many ways we can seek to be in deeper relationship with one another and the world around us. Do we want to be a plain old church or anything but plain? Do we want to go beyond the surface of joy and happiness and security, or beyond the surface of hunger and fear and poverty, and really work to reach deep into our community to see where we can meet the greatest needs? The sermon just gives us a lot to think about if we get beyond the surface of just the words. And if the sermon and the words make you uncomfortable, that's a good thing, because Jesus does not want a comfortable church. Anything but. We are called to be uncomfortable. We are called to be uncomfortable with the world around us, with what's happening to our neighbors, with what's happening in society, because we are called to help bring about God's will. May His will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Amen.